let's start. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame bante buri panya tathagata Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame dhamma sanditika akalika Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang paripunang panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Abrahmacharya veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Vikala bhojana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Nacha Gita Vadita Visuka Dasana Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanathana Veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Idang me silang Magapala Jnanasa Pachayo Hotu Appamadena Sampadeta Sa. Right. Let's start with guided mudita. Right, let us all relax here. Keep the mind open. Let go of all the thoughts, planning. Being here, being peaceful, being mindful, being present. Let the body relax. All the fatigue, tiredness, we let it all go. Relax from top of the head. Relax the forehead, the face. Relax the neck and shoulders and arms. Relax the chest. Relax the stomach area. Relax the back, spine. Relax the buttocks. Relax the hips, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, soles. So relax the whole body, keeping the mind alert and peaceful. Now let us recall in the past some dana or offerings of certain services that we have done. Recall them, and we feel happy about it. Full of joy, full of happiness, due to that act of generosity or kindness, or bring about that type of happiness to oneself and also to all beings. Whatever material gains have accumulated from the past, present or future, may all these gains do not be lost, do not disappear, do not diminish. May all these gains able to increase for my happiness, for my joy, for my welfare, for my well-being. And whatever spiritual gains that have accumulated from the past or present, or future. May all these gains do not disappear, do not diminish, do not be lost. May all these gains able to increase for my happiness, for my joy, for my well-being, for my welfare, and for my spiritual growth, until I realize Nibbana. May all these gains, spiritual or material, may all of them do not be lost. May all of them able to increase for my happiness, for my welfare, for my spiritual growth. Now let us expand further. Let us reach out to all the beings around here, monks or nuns, yogis, to the workers, helpers, volunteers, donors and sponsors, to all the garden devas of this center, to all other devas residing in this neighborhood, to all the betas and animals, big or small, far or near, seen or unseen. Whatever material gains we have accumulated from the past or in the present or will accumulate in the future, may all these gains do not be lost, do not disappear. May all their gains, may all our gains able to increase for our happiness, for our welfare, for our well-being. Whatever spiritual gains we have accumulated from the past, present, or in the future, may all these gains, may all these gains able to increase and not be lost, able to, may not, may all these gains do not disappear. May all these gains give rise to happiness, give rise to joy, give rise to well-being, welfare. May all our spiritual gains do not disappear, do not be lost. May all our spiritual gains able to increase for our happiness and welfare and for our spiritual growth. May all our gains do not disappear. May all our gains able to increase for our happiness for our welfare, for our spiritual growth. Let us all spread further. Spread the mudita to all the beings in this country, whether they're humans or non-humans, devas or petas, animals big, small, far or near, seen or unseen. Whatever material gains they have accumulated from the past, may all their gains do not be lost. Do not disappear. May all their gains able to increase. May all their gains give them happiness, give them joy, for their welfare, for their well-being. May all their spiritual gains do not be lost, do not disappear. May all their spiritual gains able to increase. May all these gains give them happiness, joy, and for their spiritual growth. Now let us expand the mudita. Let us expand the mudita to all the beings in this world. May they be our loved ones near or far away. To all the beings, to all the humans we do not know wherever they are, or to those whom we dislike or those who dislike us. To all the guardian devas of the Buddha Sasana, to all other devas residing in this world. To all the petas, to all the animals, big or small, far or near, seen or unseen. May all their material gains accumulated from the past or in the present or will accumulate in the future. May all their gains do not disappear, do not be lost. May all these gains give them able to increase, give them happiness, give them joy. May all their spiritual gains they have accumulated from the past, present, or accumulate in the future. May all these gains do not be lost, do not disappear. May all their gains able to increase. May all their gains give them happiness, give them joy. for their well-being, for their welfare, for our spiritual growth. May all beings in this world able to live happily with themselves and happily for others, not living in jealousy or envy. May all their spiritual gains, material or spiritual, may all their gains able to increase, give them happiness and joy, and for their spiritual growth. Now let us expand. Let us expand this mudita without boundary, without condition, without exception, to all beings in this universe or universes, to all beings from the highest planes of existence down to the lowest planes of existence, and all the beings in all the world systems. May all beings without exception, whatever material gains they have accumulated from the past, present, or will accumulate in the future, may all their gains do not disappear. May all their gains give them happiness, give them joy. May all their happiness, may all their gains for their welfare, for their well-being, whatever spiritual gains they have accumulated from the past, present, or will accumulate in the future, may all their gains do not disappear. Do not be lost. May all their gains able to increase for their happiness, for their welfare, for their spiritual growth. All beings without exception, whatever gains they have accumulated from the past, present, or future, may all their gains able to increase and not disappear. May all their gains give them happiness, joy, and for their spiritual growth. And slowly we let go of the mudita. Let go of the mudita, we slowly bring back the mind to the body. Feel the body, feel the rise and fall of the abdomen. Feel the sensation. Then we can slowly open our eyes. Okay. So, last 2 weeks or so, now we have been talking about the nature of tranquility. Uh, So, as I said, in the in the 7 factors of enlightenment, when we talk about tranquility, when it comes in as a meditation, during meditation, during mental cultivation, this nature of tranquility, it quiets all the noise, mental noise. Uh, Therefore, when it quiets all the mental noise, that is to say, your uh, thinking, your memories of the past, future, not it, it calms the mind. It calms the mind also in a way it calms the body. The body is not so fidgety, quiet, calm, stable, and so on. Yeah. It comes to a time, this type of tranquility, when it becomes prominent, sometimes you can notice it during in the practice, and then even at times the labeling also cannot arise. Not that you do not want it to arise, even you want it to arise, it cannot arise. But the noting mind is still going on perfectly. Yeah. If it is tranquility also, the mind is, the mind is really calm. Uh, So this type of tranquility usually is not uh, easy to come by. Usually in the beginning of a retreat, we don't see much of this tranquility. It's only when it's getting in the deeper aspect of the retreat, this tranquility becomes much more clearer. Yeah? Uh, But then when talk about this tranquility also, a number of talks also I connected it back to the hindrances, especially the sensual desire, ill will, restless mind, and the skeptical doubt, or self-doubt. This type of hindrances, they are all agitation of the mind. So tranquility and agitation, they are opposite of each other. So nevertheless, although they are fall under hindrances, we still need to quiet them down. Quiet them. May not be perfect, but it reduces them into so much. Therefore, when we come into a retreat, it's much easier for us to develop the mind. Some of the talks is not only for during in the retreat, some of the talks also basically connected to what you do out there. So what you do out there, it also help to decrease a lot of all our noisy mind or a lot of thinking mind. Therefore, when we able to do that, then we come into a retreat, the mind is so much more ready. Hmm? Uh, so if you're able to do those things, then well and good. Yeah. So that one also we cover quite a lot. Hmm. Now we go on to the next factor of enlightenment. The next factor of enlightenment, this is the concentration factor of enlightenment. Uh, uh, Samadhi Sambojjhanga. Now again, as I said, this tranquility, samadhi, and also upekkha. These three is falls under the calm group. Yeah? Fall under the calm group. Whereas the first, no, not the first one, the second, third, and fourth, they are the active group. The active group or more energetic group. Yeah? Uh, so again, as I said, that during the tranquility also, when a yogi experience peace, but it says that they express themselves and they say they experience peaceful, I'm so peaceful. Different yogi experience the peace quite differently. Some experience it through the way of tranquility because it's more clearer to them. Some is because the concentration is more clearer to them and also it comes as peaceful. Some, for whatever reason, their equanimity is quite strong and also it's peaceful to them. So when they say peace, it can be quite different in each and every one of us. Yeah? Uh, in the concentration, yeah, the nature of this concentration, you see, um, you use the word samadhi, but in the also in the Abhidhamma, they use the word ekagata. Ekagata here, it's what? One-pointedness. Yeah, one-pointedness. But you have to be careful of the word one-pointedness. Because the one-pointedness, if you just only learn Abhidhamma, then it's not a problem. But we're going to transfer the word one-pointedness into Vipassana, it can get quite confusing actually. Yeah. But it's actually, we still have one-pointedness, not to say that we don't have, but it's much more faster type of one-pointedness. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to explain all these type of things. Yeah. Now, the nature of this samadhi, nature of this concentration, this nature, it's when it's there, the mind is not distracted. Non-distraction, it is quality, it's characteristic. Non-wandering. Yeah. For example, sometimes you meditate, yeah, and your mind is alert on your object, and you know that what you are noting, clearly everything is happening. Then there is like a sound outside there, or music outside, or some noises outside. Talking about noises, this 1 or 2 days, it's going to be a bit noisy because we need to clean up some of the places here, especially the men's side. And then after that, maybe 1 or 2 more days, we're going to clean up the ladies' side because a lot of too much, it gets moldy, it gets a lot mossy, it can be very slippery. Yeah. So we need to clear that thing. So just bear up for 1 or 2 days, hopefully. So as I said, the noises, sometimes you hear the noises, but your mind is still fully alert of what is going on with the object. It does not mean that you do not know what happened. You do not know what the noises. It's just that the mind is not wander out into those objects. It stays with the object that is currently you're taking up. It knows, doesn't mean that you do not know. So it's non-wandering. So it gets stronger this time. When it gets stronger, the mind truly, it doesn't really go at all. It's really able to stay on whatever meditation object they are in. It is there. So here is a simple example. We call it non-wandering. When it arises, when it manifests, when it becomes strong, what the yogi feel also in the Abhidhamma or in the text also, it called it as peace, upasama, peace, the word upasama, peaceful. So you see, even the text, even the text says that when the concentration becomes strong, the mind is peaceful. The mind is not distracted to all other objects. Yeah. So it's like that. But here, as a meditator, then it will always be good that when we meditate in this vipassana, especially, We must learn, at least we must learn to differentiate what is mindfulness and what is concentration. And that is important. If, if you do not know, learn how to differentiate between these two, most of the time, a yogi, it will go into concentration and the mindfulness is less. In other words, too much concentration. Begin the meditation only, too much concentration. Mindfulness is not being built up together on par with the or the same level with the concentration. So because of that, when they are not properly guided, usually the concentration will go more than the mindfulness. In other words, progress is not going to be there or very slow. Very slow. Take for example, some yogis when they meditate, because of whatever study or thinking that they have, then when they come into vipassana meditation, they only want, their mind is like totally down. They study one-pointed, then one-pointed, no, one-pointed. Everything, every object that you take note of, that the yogi take notice of, then it's like that. Even they meditate also, you see the forehead also like the head here, the forehead here, all like so stressful. Then they try to mentally they are trying to drill everything in, like every object they want to like muscle everything they want to like because they try to scrutinize the whole thing. Sometimes the teacher says, "Oh, you pay attention, you note, you aim properly, then you notice it carefully, you notice it thoroughly." So, because of that, what they hear and what they do is can be quite different thing. So, when they do it, they like to everything very small. To sometimes even the rising and falling is so tiny. They try to look through a pinhole like that. Then or even the pain comes in, they try to drill inside the pain and then try to just one pinhole there. Non-distraction, they say non-distraction. So just one pinhole. They look at everything, So with this type of attitude they have, then they do it again and again. Then many times they will end up with no progress. Not only no progress, they end up with a lot of headache, a lot of migraine. Instead, the body become relaxed, the body become very tense up. Even they do walking meditation, also the same thing. You can see that they're like sometimes the eyes are so big. So try to again like if they cannot see what is going on already, they try to notice every small little sensation because they hear it or they read about it, Then they try to everything. So with this type, you're not going to go anywhere further. You're trying to do, but you are actually right now, you're just overdo a lot of things. With that over concentration, the concentration become too much. But they thought that this is the way of mindfulness. They thought that this is the nature of mindfulness, is that you are supposed to do like that. So they begin to, they misinform or due to the ignorance, they mix up between what is concentration and what is mindfulness. Mindfulness, as I said, these are the most crucial this is a crucial ingredient for the development. Again and again, every retreat, I start off with mindfulness. And mindfulness, if the mindfulness is there, you don't have to worry about concentration because it will come together. And when it comes together, it will not overshoot. The concentration will not overshoot. And that you don't have to worry. It's the thing is that we have to recognize the nature of mindfulness again and again. So when the mindfulness is there, then the concentration comes together with it at the background. Then with that, the progress will start coming in. Uh, uh, but you cannot do the other way. You cannot do like you want concentration, you don't want mindfulness. Cannot. And it cannot. It has to come with mindfulness. When the mindfulness comes in, everything will start coming in together. Okay? So therefore, the mindfulness here is that you are present, truly present of what is happening right in front of you. You're not in the past, you're not in the this one, you're not in your story. You truly know what is going on. And when you truly know what is going on at that time, the mind here, it's knowing what is there. It knows that when things are clear, it knows that things are clear. At the present, if the things are not clear, it knows also that things are not clear. When the things disappear, it knows the thing disappear. When the object appear, it knows the object appear. The object goes in this way, it knows the object goes in this way. The object do that way, it knows the object goes that way. So it's the presentness. You take note of the presentness of an object, the characteristic of an object of what is going on at that time, rather than trying to narrow down your object. Sometimes object may not be so clear. Rising, falling may not be so clear. Then we always say you go and look for another prominent object. Because the prominent object, as you pay attention to the prominent object, mindfulness arises. If the object is currently is not clear anymore, it's become very small, not clear, and you try to look at it again some more, try to look at it. Other objects become prominent, you don't want to look at it, and you want to look at that small little thing, then you're going to go calm. That over concentration is going to come in. So you must learn to note object after object after object when they are become prominent to you. So prominency of the object, it's a cause for mindfulness to arise. Clarity of the object. So other words, in our vipassana, we say that you learn to take up from one object to another object to another object. If those object becomes, if the object become clearer. Sometimes in the practice, also after you have been here for some time, sometimes the objects comes in clear, 3 or 4 or 5 come together. 3 or 4 or 5 come together as if like your mind is able to take them all. So this time, if it's happened like that to you, and it's happened in such a way, you got to see them in such a way. Not because you think of what you study in the book, that one mind can only take one object only. But right now, things are happening like that. But usually, as I said, yogis, if they are misinformed, they will always go back to what they want to think rather than what is really happening to them. So what is happening to them in front right now? That they see what is these things happening. So like this time, the mindfulness is like it widens up. It widens up. It's not like taking just one object, but it widens up what is happening there. That is also the nature of mindfulness. So you pay attention to this type of, at least you're aware that mindfulness is happening in this way, uh, rather than trying to drill into small little things and so on. uh. So at least we know a little bit of differences. Although you may not know all the theoretical words and so on, don't worry about it. Those words one, you want to go academic, okay, you go with this one. What is important as a yogi that when it happens right in front of you, you know how to differentiate them. uh. So this is, at least we must know the differences of the between concentration and mindfulness. Yeah? Concentration and mindfulness. Now, usually in the vipassana meditation, we use the word what? Kanika samadhi, moment to moment concentration or momentary concentration. Yeah? We're going to talk about it also. Yeah? Momentary concentration. But vipassana, not just only momentary concentration also. Uh, and then later we'll talk about it. Now, in samatha we have, again, due to the development, they also give different name for the concentration. In samatha meditation, there is what we call a preliminary concentration. Then after that, you have assess concentration, upachara samadhi. Then after that, you have apana, or absorption concentration. Three levels of concentration. The lower level of concentration, preliminary, that means there's a lot of hindrances. All the five hindrances is still attacking the mind. Whereas I come to the excess concentration, the hindrances is already minimized or it's not attacking at all. Okay, second level. The third level, there is no hindrances, but the mind is fully absorbed into the object. Absorption, not absorbed in the object, just absorption. So the mind is absorbed. There are this, like for example, when you are doing what? Let's say anapanasati, in breath, out breath. Now, in breath, out breath, when you begin with the in breath, out breath, is a samatha way of doing things. Then, in the beginning, when you're taking up the in breath, out breath, and also you label in, out. But here, when we do the in breath, out breath through a way of samatha, we are not looking into the characteristic. We don't have to worry whether it's warm or cold, whether it's changing this way or that way. We don't have to. We just follow the in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. Once in a while, you may know that it's long or short, but that long or short is not the particular thing. No, it's not the particular thing that you should look at. It's only for you to just take up the in breath, out breath. Then in the beginning part, all the thinking comes in, all the hindrances comes in. Then you got to put all those things aside as best as you can. And that also you need mindfulness. So you take this mindfulness, again, in breath, out breath. So everything also, even in the preliminary concentration or preliminary level, mindfulness is always important, not concentration. Concentration will develop, becomes more prominent in the later stage. But if in a samatha meditation, if you don't start off with mindfulness, you're not going to be able to hold your object. Because if you just take up the in-breath, out-breath without mindfulness, let's say, again, the whole mind going to narrow down into a very small little thing. Then your whole In breath, out breath become nothing, nothing, gone. It's only when the mindfulness comes in breath, out breath become very clear, stabilized. Yeah. Now, let's say you practice it I mean, day in, day out now, huh? And after some time, you're able to develop. Now, with this type of development, normally, uh, with the in-breath, out-breath, sometimes it begins to produce a mental image. A mental image. Mental image means that created by the mind. Actually, not you created. It created on its own. Yeah? The mind will create on its own an image which is connected to the in-breath, out-breath. Yeah? If this in-breath, out-breath is disturbed by hindrances, let's say, then this image also habis got very fragile, very fragile. So, because of that, so a yogi has to train. That samatha yogi has to train and train and train until they can take up the in breath, out breath much more stabilized. Then this uh, mental image becomes clearer. Also, at the same time, the five hindrance is not attacking so much anymore. So when the hindrance is not so much attacking anymore, then this mental image will become clearer. It become clearer and clearer, and then after that, it will start to overwhelm the body in breath out breath, Then this type of in breath out breath, you slowly let it go, and you begin to take up this mental image. So you take up this mental image. Again here, mindfulness also, it must be there in order to stabilize the thing. Because when the mindfulness is there, it protects the whole mind. It protects that created image from being kacau by the five hindrances, by disturbed by the five hindrances. So it has to be there. So as the mindfulness gets stronger, then this time the mind gets calm. Because one thing you will see a lot of more calmness here is when there's no changing. You don't look at changes like what we do in Vipassana. It's only one object only, and you try to stabilize it. One object and you try to stabilize it. And then as you stabilize it further and further, the hindrances getting less and less until this type of image become very bright, very clear. Yeah? As if like it's a real in-breath, out-breath. Or it's a very clear object. Sometimes for some people, they say that it's a very soft brightness or something like that. Yeah? Some people, they just experience a mental image of an in-breath, out-breath, something that is up and down. Yeah? Uh, uh, so it all depends on each and every yogi. So when they do that thing, the more that the mindfulness and the concentration becomes clearer, then as I said, the hindrances become less and less. The mindfulness is still there, but this time the concentration manifests itself to become more clearer. That's why you see that there's a lot of calm and peacefulness. You don't have to worry about your leg pain. You don't have to worry about this tension or that tension. So more or less that your mind is not distracted to all other objects. You're not distracted to all the pain and sensation and all that thing. So because you don't get distracted to all those type of things, your mind remains peaceful. And then this time, the concentration becomes clearer. So this is all we come into the excess concentration. Although I summarize it, hey, it's not as easy, I tell you. Although you don't have to watch pain, this and that, it's not as easy because the hindrances is still there. So let's say you can able to progress. The way that you're able to progress, the object is still clear to you. If this image, if this image begins to disappear, let's say, And then your mind is not observing the object. That means you are going out of the whole samatha path, Doesn't mean that samatha path you cannot go, you don't go out, You can still go out from the whole samatha path. Because sometimes the nature of samatha thing is that if you don't hold on to your object, if you don't watch your object, even the mental created object, you will go on to samatha upakilesa also. You see, when it have light, it begin to attach to the light. Oh, it's beautiful, it's nice, and craving is there. When the craving is there, then the progress will not go any more further. That means you're out of the whole samatha thing. Just like we've talked about it on Saturday, those people who have lights and so on the question. Similar thing in samatha. So again and again, a yogi must learn to take up on the object. Don't get distracted by the lights. Don't get distracted by the calmness. Don't get distracted by a lot of other things. Just make sure that you just stay with the in-breath, stay with the image there. The more that you're able to stay with it, then the mind gets go into deeper and deeper until when it becomes mature, then in the third level of concentration, which is the appana samadhi, the absorption concentration. In other words, the mind is truly absorbed into it, uh, absorbed into it, and that time all the hindrances is gone. When you absorb into it, doesn't mean that you're asleep, Sometimes people thought that they go in meditate samatha in breath, then off. Then they wake up again. Oh, wow, some jhana liao. No, they are sleeping only. This is not. This is not. This is not jhana or whatever nonsense. When it's inside the jhana, your faculties of your mind is still fully alert, fully at the optimum level. It's so high, it's so clear that your mind is not distracted at all and able to notice what is going on. In the beginning, sometimes with the jhana, you don't even know what is outside there. You don't even hear what is outside there because the mind is fully absorbed. But later on, when the mind is much more skillful, then it gets better. Yeah, it knows the surrounding a little bit after that. But of course, if you wants to go in much more deeper, then fine. So anyway, the thing is that when you do samatha meditation, the manifestation of peace becomes quite clear. Calmness is quite clear. So therefore, it says that samatha meditation is very much connected to concentration, which is true. In a way, it's true because of its peacefulness. Its peacefulness is there. But does not mean that samatha don't have the the faculty of wisdom is not there. No? The faculty of wisdom also is still there. You know when is the time for you to go deeper, when is the time for you to this, for you to able to switch from preliminary to this one, and when from excess for you to able to go into this one, and when for you to come out from there. Even when you go into the jhana, you come out from it from after the jhana. Wisdom factor is the one that you can able to differentiate which one is vitaka, which one is vichara, which one is piti, sukha, ekagata. Without a strong wisdom, without that penetrative wisdom to able to differentiate, to discriminate this state of mind, if you don't have that wisdom, you'll still come out mong cha cha also. I mean, it's already good now, but because of the wisdom is not there, you cannot able to differentiate. Because again here, vitaka and vichara is a very narrow thing only. They all come together. So it's not as easy as you think it is, actually. Yeah. Some people they experience like vitaka, vichara, piti, eka, sukha before they even attain jhana. Yes, of course you have those things, but sometimes just because you experience those things doesn't mean that there's jhana. You already seen jhana, not yet. So you are fully alert in the jhana and so on until you come out from it. Now you see, when you have this jhana, let's say, this absorption, this jhana, then later on, you want to switch over to vipassana. We talk about a little bit on Saturday, on the Q&A. Now, because of you can able to go into jhana, and all the hindrances already been taken care of. Then, in other words, when you meditate, not much of sleepiness anymore, not much of thinking mind, not much of sensual desire, not much of ill will, not much of doubt. Everything is just sun sun. That time, you just switch over to see the characteristics of the object of the body and mind. Then you don't have to worry about all the hindrances. So that's why in the past, when you have the time, during the Buddha's time, as a monk or nun, they have much time. So they develop samatha. Because they develop samatha, then they cool off all the hindrances and everything, then bring all the concentration, the mindfulness into vipassana. So when you'll be able to put into all the thing into vipassana, then everything becomes very clear, very sharp, and very, 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 a lot of things that you can see. And that time, if you can do that, you don't have to worry too much on walking meditation. Because here, you can see that only you do a lot of good walking meditation, then only you're sitting got something. That one is powered by the jhana already. Powered by the jhana, then everything comes in, everything becomes very clear. Yeah? But nevertheless, walking also is still good. Even those people who have done jhana and so on, they come out, they still do walking because walking also give rise to, it stabilize the mind, it give you the body health and all that thing. Yeah? So, so this is on the samatha level. It's on the samatha level. Yeah, it's good for us to know. It's good for us to know. Now we cross over to the vipassana type. Yeah? In the vipassana type, I think this is my opinion. There's also like a preliminary concentration. Then after that, it comes in appana samadhi also. Preliminary appana samadhi. Preliminary kanika samadhi, momentary concentration. Then after that, there is also appana samadhi also. Yeah. Now, the appana, the absorption concentration here, this belongs to the nibbana already. When you see nibbana as an object, all right? This is an absorption concentration. No more kanika samadhi. Kanika samadhi, because it's moment to moment change, you see the moment to moment things. Anything that is still moment to moment is still samsara. So, absorption, when you see nibbana, there's no arising and passing away. And so, therefore, it cannot be called kanika samadhi anymore. Yeah. Uh, so, so that one, it's absorption concentration already. Yeah? So you don't have to worry about that one. What is important here is the kanika samadhi. Some people says that when you start vipassana, it's all kanika samadhi. But for us, without the jhana one, we call it the dry inside worker. Yeah? Vipassaka, I forgot the word. Vipassaka yanika. dry inside worker. Anyway, uh, what happened when we begin without all this samatha meditation? Without all this type of jhana and excess concentration and so on. In other words, the mind is not trained in the beginning. We come in with zero development. Let's say in this life, don't talk about past life. In this life, we start off with zero meditation. So when you start off with zero meditation, then you want to build up something. During that time, you fill up with a lot of all your hindrances. You notice your rise and fall. After that, what do? You go into a lot of thinking. If not thinking, you go into a lot of sleepiness, especially when we meditate at home. And we don't regularly meditate, let's say, we don't regularly meditate. Once in a blue moon, we meditate. Then the moment you sit down, in breath, out breath, or rising, falling, sleep. Rising, falling, then you go into a lot of your thinking about your work, thinking about your life, thinking about family, thinking about this and that. So all these type of things, that means you haven't really achieved Kanika Samadhi yet. Yeah. You're still in the what we call a preliminary concentration. That means it's still bombarded with a lot of hindrances. Yeah. Then after that, if you start to do retreats, or you have been more regular into the practice, and when you start to begin to do retreats, that is where after a number of days, after all the sleepiness, all the thinking, this is where your Kanika Samadhi starts to come in. You begin to pay attention, like from one object to another object to another object, lifting, pushing, dropping, touching, pressing, hard, soft, warm, cold. What is going on there? Yeah. So when you notice these things, that means Kanika Samadhi is coming in, right? When you're able to watch like rising, falling, and then pain arises, you notice the pain. After noticing the pain, after some itchiness arising, you notice some itchiness, you notice its pressure, you notice its biting, painful, unpleasantness. Then, when you take, for example, when you're able to notice from one object to another object, then the Kanika Samadhi come in. Huh? Now, the process of this Kanika Samadhi, it also needs to be explained a little bit. Because um, I read that in the Facebook, people wrote whatever there, even by monks. It says that this Kanika Samadhi is no point for us to develop. They are all very weak concentration. Yeah. How could you just jump from one object to another object? When you jump from one object, your mind disperses away. So because of that, sometimes they write into this one. Then we already know that they do not know what is meant by Kanika Samadhi. Yeah. Uh, the- this one. Now, in the process of Kanika Samadhi, what happened is that the nature of this concentration. You see, the nature of concentration, it has its, non-wandering as an object. But at the same time, what it does is that it holds together. What it holds together, it holds all your mindfulness together, it holds the effort together, it holds the wisdom, it holds the vitaka, it holds the vichara, it holds the maybe the joy is there, it holds the equanimity, so that they all being hold together, and that holding on is being put onto the present object. Yeah? The whole thing is being held together, then it put on the present object. Each and every of the component inside there, of these noting components, inside there, they all do their own function. For example, if you have mindfulness, then mindfulness go near to the object, right? it does its function. It goes near to the object. It goes face to face to the object. What does a wisdom factor do? A wisdom factor scrutinizes the object, scrutinize whether this object is rising, passing away, whether this object is going long, short, fast, slow. What is going on there? Uh, then the vitaka, for example, vitaka is like it's aiming there. It's aims there, right there. That object means that object. Aims there. So like vichara is like it has the power of like a magnet. It's just stuck there to the object. Stay there to the object. So they call it rubbing on the object or landing on the object. It's just there. So the concentration is all these things is hold them. It does its function by holding them together so that all the object does its function. So in other words, a noting mind, that a mind that pays attention to the object, that it holds together all these components together onto that particular present object. Okay? That's how the noting mind works. Everything they do their own functions. Now, we use the word kanika here is like, for example, if you take a lifting, pushing, dropping. In the lifting, the whole noting mind, all these components is being held together and onto the whole lifting, right? It's on the whole lifting. Then when you go into the pushing, this noting mind is already gone. Then there's a new noting mind is already on top of the pushing already. So when there's a new noting mind comes in at this process, again, the samadhi holds them all together, and all the other things is functioning on the pushing right now. Again, when it goes into the dropping, this noting mind is already gone. Then it goes dropping. The new noting mind is observing on the dropping. That means again here, it holds them together. In the beginning process, when we talk like that, and normally you don't see like that. Normally what happens is that you just note lifting, pushing, dropping. You may note three parts, but you don't note the three parts of the mind. The mind is just only one stretch only. That is in the beginning. What happened. But what behind it that you don't see in the mind is that one thing, a new noting mind is and the old noting mind gone, the new one come, go, come, go, come, go. Yeah. So and sometimes in your practice also, objects may change a little bit more faster. Say for example, like arising and falling, and then it goes two rising, two falling, three rising, three falling, let's say. So even in the three rising, let's say, each rising is a new noting mind. The next rising is a noting mind. The next rising is a noting mind. When it drops again, next rising, then a new noting mind. So the more that it goes faster, even it lasts for one arising and passing away. Then you begin to see vibration, let's say, like a lot of heartbeat pop, 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 pop here and there, or sometimes even faster than that, like arising and passing away, things happening as they are. A single moment of you noting arising and passing away is a single noting mind that is taking place already. Then you notice another arising and passing away. This noting mind is also arising and passing away. And arising and passing away together with that object. So that's why it's called momentary concentration, because the concentration only lasts a moment of arise and pass away. then a new one arise and pass away, a new one arise and pass away, arise and pass away. Understand? 明白吗? I'm talking Greek. Hey, this one, what happened is that we are trying to slow down, the whole movie, we're trying to slow down the mental movie, trying to slow down to see how the process works theoretically, like at least, just to explain to you what it means by momentariness of an object. Oh, sorry, momentariness of the concentration. It takes object moment after moment. You only will see this momentariness of the object. You will see that in a deeper aspect of the development. Yeah. Sometimes also you may see it in the first insight. Sometimes for some people, like for example, this one is a bit gross. And even in the first insight, they see like the mind is one part, the body is one part. Then sometimes three parts rising, three mind arising. But you just feel the mind only, but you don't feel the components of what is going on inside there. So when you go into the deeper aspect of meditation, some yogis which are more clearer, they can notice this type of things happening. So the momentary concentration, it takes moment arises, it disappears, together with the object arises, disappear, arises, disappear, arises, disappear, both of them together. So even like you, for example, you notice 5 objects coming together. Actually, there are five arising and passing away of the noting mind is already happening inside there. It's just that we don't see the quickness of that mind. So this is what you call momentary. One object to another object, another object to another object. Now, with this type of momentariness also, in the lower level of insight, when we are just beginning of development and so on, then this concentration still being cut out by all your hindrances also. It's the same. It has been cut out, all the hindrances after your sleepiness come in and so on, because that momentariness on the object is not that strong yet. Then when you go into deeper aspect of the meditation, when you begin to see a lot of arising and passing away, when you see a lot of arising and passing away, that time, the momentariness of the concentration, the momentary concentration also become very powerful. So powerful in the sense that they can prevent hindrances from coming in. Even the yogis sit there for 1 hour. The moment they start noting only, everything is starting, arising and passing away, changing everything, until the bell rings, without thinking come in, without sleepiness come in, without distraction coming in at all. Any object that comes in, you can able to follow it carefully. So, but they are not enlightened yet. They're not enlightened yet, but they are still able to notice all these type of things. So they are powerful. They are really powerful, this concentration. And the mind is powerful, so powerful that it can able, even like when you meditate, even there's sound outside there, it's not so, they are not distracted by at all, and so on. So it's quite powerful. Yeah? Yeah. Even like the Sayadaw U Pandita here, the late Sayadaw U Pandita, he also mentioned about Vipassana jhana also, which I don't use that term that much, because this type of term sometimes bring about a lot of confusion to a lot of yogis. A lot of confusion to the yogis. Usually I don't do that. But what they are trying to mean about Vipassana jhana, again here the word jhana may not be all the time the same. Yeah. Because in the Pali, the word jhana can mean to meditate. To meditate, just like what you are doing, just to meditate, does not mean that absorption. Doesn't mean absorption in the Pali, Uh, or you can have a deeper aspect where the mind is free from all the hindrances and so on. Uh, You use the word vipassana jhana also. In fact, that when you comes into a different insight, then that the like in the samatha meditation, we have vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, and ekagata. These five components. You can see that quite clearly in a certain level. Then as like in samatha jhana also, as you go into a higher level of jhana, then like vitaka is eliminated. And or after that, vichara eliminated. Then after that, the joy eliminated in the following higher jhana. And then after that, uh, the sukha also eliminated as you go into a higher jhana. In the same thing also, when you go into the higher insights, certain insights you begin to eliminate vitaka also. You begin to eliminate the vichara also. You begin to eliminate joy, pity, and only concentration and equanimity becomes the most prominent one. Even one before attains enlightenment. Yeah? So that's why they give rise to call this vipassana jhana also, in a way, because it mimics the quality of a samatha jhana. Yeah? At the same time, at that time, what is important don't worry about all these things. What is important about this kanika samadhi is that the higher that you go, the less distraction that you will have. The less distraction, the more that the mind can able to know what is going on with the whole body. Yeah. And again here, when we do this kanika samadhi, when we do this vipassana meditation, although the mind is taking up one object at one moment of time, but because of the dynamicness of our and also the very fast nature of our mind, please don't think of it like the mind can take only one object at one time. When the mind can take up one object at one time, this is a very, a light speed. You try to slow down the whole light speed into a more in the minute form. The mind is so fast. So next time when you pay attention to your object, don't think of it just this can take one thing at one time. You can take several things at as if like one moment, but the mind is going very fast. The book is correct. Not the book is not the book is not wrong. It's just that how you interpret it is wrong. Yeah. How we interpret it is wrong. The book is right. It's only right when you go into a deeper aspect of vipassana meditation. Then every moment of arising and passing away, you also see the arising and passing away of that noting mind. Then that time, the mind disappear, object disappear, mind arises, mind disappear. At that time, you actually see the mind take up only one object at one time. Then that time is right. So before that, don't worry about it. Just note whatever that is coming in. Okay? So this is a little bit on the concentration. Tomorrow we're going to talk about a little bit more on the different aspect of concentration. Okay, we'll stop here for the night. Share merits. Idang me bawanang nibbanasa pachayo hotu. May my mental cultivation be a condition for the realization of Nibbana. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang Dhamma, we share these merits with our departed ones, with all beings, and all the devas. Sabbe satta sukhi hontu anumodantu. May all beings be happy. May they rejoice in these merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.